Well, howdy there. It is Michael from 3D Print Everything, and did you know that even these simple 3D printer, FDM 3D printers here can kill you or can cause serious health concern? Today we're going to talk about the health concerns of 3D printing, and that's something I haven't done on this channel before, but it is something to be addressed. I addressed resin printing in my last video over an issue that had come up with a print job, and I've known about the dangers of FDM printing, but obviously you see I have printers here. You don't see me just screaming and protesting that everyone shouldn't have a 3D printer. I'm selling children 3D printers and old people 3D printers. So what are the dangers? If you're asking yourself, hurry up Michael, get to the point, am I killing myself by having one of these in your room? Short answer, no. You'll be fine if you just have one 3D printer. But the issues with 3D printing, and I saw this some years back, is microplastics. So if you've ever changed some filament and you saw a teeny little string, kind of like a spider web, go out into the air, that spider web isn't as small as it gets smaller. And for instance, in this room here, the amount of microplastics in the air is probably at a higher density than the amount of microplastics outside. Microplastics are everywhere. They're all in our sea. They're all in our food and whatnot. They're in your liver right now. I think every single fish recorded has microplastics in it. There's jet fuel from people dumping it and women's milk. I mean, we're getting slowly poisoned regularly. But in this case, there was a study of someone essentially running a farm. They had been running a print farm, if I remember right, and my dates are going to be a little off here, but I'm just trying to summarize. It was like 10 years of running a business from like 2000 to 2010. It was a very early 3D print company. 300 something FDM printers like this. And, it was like one or two guys operating this whole thing. And at year 8 or 9 out of 10 or so, that man was having a hard time breathing. And when he finally went to the hospital and was looking at it and figuring it out, they come to find out that, it's microplastics that have clogged his lungs. And, these teeny little plastics get in your lungs over years and years and years, and then you can't get them out, and there's nothing you can do about it. So if you're an athlete runner and someone offers you a job in a print farm, probably don't want to take that job, and the way that I've always viewed this is I wanted to get this to a point to where I could operate, a shelf with doors and HEPA filters, pumping in positive air, sucking out negative air, just continuously filtering air in and out, so that when you open it, you're still opening it to a semi-filtered, condition. Because I would love to grow this company to the point of having hundreds, if not thousands, of printers, but I don't want to be on that work floor for years, slowly clogging my lungs, and I don't want any of my employees to have that either. I think I ride the line of, I've ridden the line now that some of my production is actually at somebody else's shop, of I only operate, 30 or so printers. They only peak at max capacity. I didn't have 30 running 24/7. At best I would have 3 to maybe 10 running, semi 24/7 or something like that. Even right now I don't have machines running, but they will start after this video. But it is something to be concerned with. So if you're running a print farm, if you're really wrapping up, you're doing a ton of production, you're keeping machines running 24/7, at the very least, to get you some passive in your room cleaning. I know of some people who have 30 plus printers and they're making a whole lot of stuff, or they're making a lot of the same thing. That's probably the point in time when you want to begin to be concerned with some of this. Like if you're making enough money to buy extra printers and to buy extra stuff, spend some time on safety. Investigate this, evaluate your situation. This is your life you're playing with. This is the difference of walking up a hill when you're 50 and not being out of breath. You want to have good oxygen supply. You want to be healthy when you're older. Don't let a small problem become bigger. So I'm addressing it in the way that I can. I haven't had enough money to just build custom shelving and build all this super nice stuff like I want, but I'm at least further removed away from it. The shop that it's going into is much bigger and more open. I'll address this with him specifically if he hasn't learned about these concerns, but it is something to be aware of, and it is something that you want to look into if you're operating a small to large farm. So microplastics, that's the dangers of microplastics with FDM 3D printers. If you saw this video before the last video, I talked about the dangers of resin and how if you have a bad 3D model, you can essentially be handing someone a toxic time bomb that could kill them. And that's much more dangerous than these FDM printers. Resin printers, if handled inappropriately, can kill you quickly. They will kill you in a couple of years. They will kill you in a couple of days. So you have to take those with extreme care in order to get those extreme quality, beautiful prints that resin gives you. But thanks, guys. Those are my videos for the morning on the dangers of 3D printing and how serious this can be. Take it seriously. Do some research. Comment down below if you have any stories about someone you've maybe heard of, or another company, or any other articles like this you've potentially read. I would love to hear about them and learn more of it. If you know of other dangers besides the microplastics, I would love to hear it. I know there's fumes from certain printers that could be addressed, but less of an issue on a smaller scale. Again, you're most likely safe giving one of these to your kids. It's not a big deal if you're printing, just a little bit over and over. It's kind of like the way I view it is like the background radiation. There's radiation all around us. We're getting radiated by the sun and everything. You can take a Geiger counter outside and you'll get a couple of rads or whatever. And certain beaches in the world, you put it down in the sand. It's like, oh my gosh, the sand is irradiated. It's ticking, tick, 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 tick. And it's 3 times the background radiation, 10 times background radiation. And there's just people laying all in it, and they love it. It's the healing sand. And they're not getting cancer immediately. They're not standing next to a nuclear reactor. That sand that's 3 times more radioactive than background radiation is still okay for people to be around. Just like I think being around 3D printers or in this room with a raised level of microplastics, it's probably going to be okay compared to walking into Chernobyl or walking into a radioactive environment that will kill you and burn you on the spot. If you walk into 3,000 3D printers and it's all hazy in there, I'd be quite concerned, and I'd want to wear a respirator for sure. And especially if that was my job. So if you find yourself working in a 3D print farm and you're watching this video and you're like, oh crap, am I clogging my lungs? Grab an N95 mask, wear it while you're at work. That's something your boss can't fault you on. Address the concerns. Bring these up to your employers if you know of a print farm that is operating in a non-safe way, especially a resin print farm, or your friends who might have a resin printer. Call out bad safety, because this stuff is more dangerous in my opinion than welding or some of these other things. I mean, these other things can definitely kill you. There's lots of different ways to die. But let's not make 3D printing anything that ever gets on the charts. I would hate to see a day where the government is like, hey, there is just so much mishandling of resin that all resin print for resin 3D printers needs to be, put behind a government certification paywall, so that you can do it safely. Let's not get it to that point, but let's make sure that we don't get, let's make sure that people aren't getting hurt from it. So have a good day, guys. I really appreciate the videos. Like, share, subscribe, post this in your Facebook groups and whatnot. It's important that that this is common knowledge that 3D printers and resin printers have their dangers, and we need to understand how to best address it. I mean, in the end, all these FDM printers, in my opinion, should come either enclosed or with a HEPA filter, or at least with a slight warning of heavy use of multiple 3D printers can lead to health concerns. I mean, there's no reasons why we need to put so much on cigarettes and not other chemicals that people are buying for their children. A resin printer for a 13-year-old could be a decision that won't get them through high school, if handled with improper care. So be careful, guys. Have a good day.